buffalo bacon burger with cooked bacon inside the burger while it starts to cook.
Welcome guys, we are gonna do a bow build for you today. This bow build is for Jeff Dodds. I told you all he was coming to the channel. I'm giving him a hand-me-down 33. It's pretty mint. We're gonna get it tuned up and set up, and we're also gonna feast on some bison burgers. Been a minute since we've had Josh do a bow build. Let's go.
How you like my new display?
I like it. I was just complimenting you when you were here. He was like, nice.
Here to there are all the giveaway bows that I'm going to start in a couple of days. It's going to be the 10 bows of Christmas. Image is the light poundage.
So like, what's the lowest it goes?
50. Well, actually, no, 40.
40 to 55?
It's like 40 to 55. So I got to pick out like a kid or an old guy or a lady to give that to.
Well, let's talk about bow builds now. So we got a hand-me-down phase 4.
Oh, you want me to check him?
Yeah, check him
I'm going
out.
to hold this boy accountable.
I'm still in this.
Turn around, give me a wingspan across the back. As far as you can stretch it. Arms forward just a tiny bit. There you go. Okay. So, like most guys, he's not quite as long as he thinks he is. So he is 28 and a half to 28 and 3/4. And on that bow, since it runs long, I would not run a 29 because it's really more like 29 and 3/8, 29 and a half. So 28 and a half would be the closest. Cool. And you're probably gonna be one side or the other to that. So I gotta go swap that.
Behind the scenes is a cool day. We're meeting up as a team. I've never had a team.
Hi, Tyler.
Hey!
You get a lot further in life with a team than by yourself, so only took me a long time to figure that out. Tyler runs a gear channel and is also my hunting partner a lot of the times, which is a loose way of saying we share responsibilities of getting animals off the mountain together, and sharing camp also means that he eats real food. And so a lot of times he'll make real dinners and I'll have a freeze dried, and he's like, I made enough for both of us. And then I'm like, well, that worked out perfect. Jeff's the new guy here. He's gonna document everything, brand manager of ElkShape, and it's nice because I don't have to use tripods and self-film a lot of stuff. Right now we're headed down to the print shop that does a lot of our apparel, and we're gonna go check out a new run of hoodies, and then we are gonna hop on. We got a meeting with a company called Matthews Archery.
Startup.
It's a small startup in Sparta, Wisconsin. Let's build a bow. Do I need to take that camera duty over?
Sure. Okay. Super simple to change these out. There's no bow press required. The cable is going to sit against the module a little bit when you take it out. So just pull one screw out, and then when you start backing the other screw out, pull the cable off, back it all the way out so it doesn't pop the last little threads out. But there's no load on it that requires you to press it. So just clamp it down or set it on the counter, pull it out, put the other one in, screw it back in. You'll have to push that out of the way a little bit, but it's that simple. Because I'm going to do a bunch of this shit this way.
Looking good.
I'm getting the new Baker with a floor stand. So the vise will be on a floor stand.
Baker's better than O&P.
I'd like to have at least a month or two of work with it first. But yes, I do think it is. From what I have seen thus far, I do think it is. I will give a long-term review after I've used it a little bit more. But so far, very impressed.
Shameless plug.
Well, you know, I sell all of them, so it really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I've got all the OMPs.
Hey, when's the OMP jig coming out that they announced at ATA show in Twitch?
Last year? That is a good question. So all the people asking when my jig's going to be ready, I'm going to say, well, it hasn't taken as long as OMPs, so
3, 2, 1, destroy.
It's just easy.
Seek and destroy.
Look at that little laser etchy. Isn't that spiffy? How many of those you have made?
I think 3.
Really?
Yeah. So he's getting one of them.
So the Matthews edition of this, you can't get for another month. They're that back order. And almost every bow, the first like 10 we sold, everybody wanted that rest on it. We had 50. We have none. But I did have them online at first, not realizing there was going to be a problem getting them back in.
Is that their version of like engaged, like limbs?
It's honestly, it's not anything like it, but that's the concept.
Does it keep the cam off the ground?
So their cam actually keeps the cam off the ground now. It's interesting. They have a little nipple on it. Yeah, a little nipple that sits on the ground that sticks down from the cam.
What I'm going to do is I'm not going to watch any of your bow reviews, not trying to be a jerk, but I'm just going to wait to see what you actually hunt with, and then that'll be my bow review.
Okay, there you go.
See what I did there?
That's one way to do it.
Because I know Josh is going to use what Josh likes.
So you just moved here.
What were you shooting? Yeah.
And you bought a house in Washington, not Idaho.
Correct.
So I question like the intelligence in your brain at this point.
Right.
Personally, why?
Because we can't afford it.
Oh, is that much more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tried to buy a house over there or anything.
I mean, so like
Go check it out, Josh.
They're
we
just out of control, bad.
insane.
we tried. Trust me, man. I was
Man,
like,
you would
I
think
was like,
with all
okay, I
these,
guess we can live in Sandpoint.
You know what I told you? I told you Idaho.
you would
You
think,
did.
yeah, you would think that with all these, caring, giving policies, that people would want to live in a state like this.
Right. No.
No, I think that's the proof's in the pudding there.
I was like, well, I can use my non-income tax to buy out-of-state Idaho tax. So.
Now.
For now,
Yeah.
as long as they still exist. That's the other scary thing.
Yeah, we tried Idaho. We tried.
That's tough, man. I mean, honestly, dude, I'd have paid it anyway.
Yeah.
And you're gonna pay state income tax, and whenever I set a cord on one of these things, I just pull the cord tight, I put it through the cable, so it's actually held in by serving, draw it back once, and that sets the tension to where it's gonna be maxed out there. I'll mark it, pull it through, tie a knot in it, melt it, and slide it back up, and your cord length's set. As long as you don't change your draw length or anything like that, you're good, and then you don't have a part that's screwed on there or clamped on there that you're hoping doesn't come loose at some point.
It's a cool company, the great P&W. He's crazy. He's a serial entrepreneur. This is Grayson.
How's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
One medium, an XL, and an XL.
Thanks, man. How thrilled are you right now?
I'm interested. All right, the multicam options.
Folks liked that one better on the pole. Do you have the one sewn on, or was that like a...
I just stuck it on there.
Oh, you faked it?
Yeah, I faked it.
Okay. That fast?
That fast, dude. They're pros around here.
All right, guys. Well, that was what y'all voted on our poll.
This is an official, I believe this is the multicam Tropic.
It's a 112.
Dude, I like it. I like the
This
color.
is the 6606 YP Classics, officially licensed multicam. So this is not just some kind of like knockoff camo. This would be, if you're a multicam fan, this is gonna fit with every other garment you have.
We're gonna run this sucker through paper, make sure we got a decent hole. We'll check the P-pipe because it'll probably need to be changed.
Yeah.
But before we bother cutting it loose, let's just make sure it doesn't line up for you where it is.
For sure.
If it doesn't line up, we'll cut that loose, move that around, get that good, but might as well tune the bow first in case we have to change anything, i.e. knock height, what have you. So with your point, there you go. Okay, that should be in the bale somewhere. There you go. That is a great starting point for me. If you want to tweak it more, we can, but I mean, I'd want to know what a broadhead does before I got too picky at that point, but I can move it around if you like. We can pull it back in the draw board and check the timing, make sure it's right, but I don't think you'd get that close to up and down tear if the timing was out at all. So technically, that's a little tiny bit point low, tiny bit point right. We can move the rest around. I'll check the timing, but if you get within this parameter, for me, I'd immediately go to shooting a broadhead and a field point and check the two. Or if you don't want to shoot broadheads, you could shoot a shaft with the appropriate amount of weight on the back of the arrow and shaft tune it and check it from there, because you're probably going to change. When you get this beautiful perfect paper tear, there's a good chance you're changing it anyway.
Sure.
So I don't fight too hard to get this perfect if I'm immediately going to go to the next thing and check. If you're not going to, we can play with it a little bit. But either way, I'd still check the timing just to make sure
Yeah,
it's
let's
easy.
just do the basics. Check the timing.
All right.
What arrow did he use?
This is a RIP TKO Elite 300, the one with a wrap on it. And are those Q2Is? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Q2Is and the stock bendable insert. Yeah, they've got a new rest that I'm pretty excited about. That's called the Everest. And the difference between this, I would say this is an Epsilon on a budget. So what you're getting with this rest is you're not getting the wraparound bar that is traditional with an Epsilon, which is excessive because the bearings and the internal components in here are super beefy anyway. So I don't see ever wearing it out. But you lose the wraparound bar, which does make the rest a little lighter. You gain screws on the outside to adjust the up and down, where on the Epsilon, they're on the inside and they're a pain in the ass to get to. So that's a big plus. But you also lose micro adjust. So your windage and elevation are going to be a slide. You loosen a screw, you move it, you tighten it back down. If you're not a guy that's going to mess with it yourself at all, ever, then that's not something you really need. But if you're going to tweak with it, it is really nice to have the micro adjust. But this is $75 cheaper too. So something to consider.
This is Jeff's first day on the job. What is this job? Everything. Typically, I try to shut work down at about 4 o'clock. We start early in case you think we're slacking, and that just makes me go shoot, get the kind of the mind reset, and then do a workout, I don't love trading in the mornings, it's no secret, but I will if I need to. Right now, we're gonna just shoot a little bit and we'll bring you along. Timing's so good and haven't touched it once. That's out of a lot of arrows to this bow. 90, 70, and then I'd like to check the fixed pins. Hey, all right, it's close to an 11. One more, just make sure it wasn't luck.
That silicone lube looks great. See what your draw length really is. And you'll find that is measuring out at 28.5 dead center. Perfect.
Perfect.
Nice.
So that mark was at the end of the shelf?
So I cut this arrow down to where it's the middle of the bolt hole. So when you look at the hole in the riser, I took this arrow apart, cut out what I needed to, so those measurements measured up with whatever your draw length is, measures right down the center of the bolt hole, because the front of the riser position is a lot different on a lot of different bows.
So to the center
of the bolt hole is the draw length measurement. So when they measure, it's 1 3/4 in front of that hole, but I cut 1 3/4 off of this measuring arrow so it measures out accurately.
Got it.
Okay, so this cable is not touching barely, and this one is. So that means this cable's longer than that one. So we're gonna put a little twist in this cable to try to shorten it to make them hit at the same time.
Just FYI.
Is that good?
Hang on. Yep, you should be okay. That's a little more centered.
I definitely.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So once I get that set, I'll mostly be right here and right here. So if I'm
And
adjusting your levels, which is why I really need that other one to get here.
Baker.
Look at
Where's
that.
he out of?
Idaho.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's close by. He's a cop. He's going to be retiring pretty soon. So it's not been a full-time job for him.
Definitely got a TikTok account.
Yeah, does he?
Yep.
I didn't even.
I'm not on TikTok, but he posts all his TikTok videos on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's got the little TikTok logo.
So why aren't you on both there, Daniel?
I'm not into spyware.
So you're only into American spyware.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. It's hard to find one that works well, but there's so many different sight rails that it's just really a bitch to find one that like locks in good. See, that actually reads good. So it's just this that's off. Oh, well, that's probably why. It loose a fucking goose. There you go. That just needs to be bumped a little bit, but your rail's fine. It's gonna be okay.
Pretty nice second axis adjustment on this site.
It's easy to get at.
And it's a really budget-friendly
wrench.
3-pin vertical.
What's your? Well, I don't call it budget friendly. It's okay. I mean, there's a decent amount, but it's about the same price as a Spot Hog.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I
How much
sell
is
them.
this?
That's 350 bucks. I sell them. You don't. It's 350 bucks, which is about
I'm just comparing it to like
a spot.
Or a dialed.
a diode or a
500.
3-pin vertical. They don't
Sure,
make
those
yet.
are redonkulous. Yeah. Well, but when are they going to do that? Right?
Every video that I get an opportunity to, I will tell people, so you can go ahead, tell everyone to bug UV to make the 3-pin. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody out there, get a hold of UV and bug the shit out of them to have a 3-pin vertical, please. Thank you.
Check every video.
Good.
Whenever you're comfortable.
432 grain arrow, 75-pound mods.
I think that's what it was.
80% let off. 28.5-inch draw.
280. Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to 285.
Just aim what you were aiming at before. You be fine with
I
the.
don't like how confident Josh was right there.
I might have had that too high. You'll clear it just fine. I just don't know how well it'll pick up. There you go. Oh, 281. What do you know? It's like somebody does this for a living. I want to keep this in the middle so he has all the range to move it. So I'm going to use the coarse, which is a nice feature that this site has that a lot of them don't. This actually has a coarse and a fine adjustment.
Yeah, I like that.
So you really can finitely set it for yourself. A photochromatic deal. And don't forget about the legs.
It's my
Oh, the girls don't feet like this. Why'd you gotta do that? I'm gonna have that in my head the rest of the day. This my all the girls don't feet like this.
What kind of speeds do you guys think this is going to spit? I was thinking 280. What do you guys think?
You were thinking 290, you lying sack. That's that editing thing where you look like you're right when you weren't.
I bet
You're in the
280. Oh my God! I called that.
281?
I do this for a living.
Ooh. Schmack!
All right, guys, so we got the bow build done for Jeff. Jeff, welcome to the team. We're glad to have you, bro. So what we're looking at right now is the Phase 4, a hand-me-down 33 that's pretty mint. It's got the engaged leg limbs. It's got custom strings, gas bow strings, the one-piece quiver. It's got the, by the way, I'm 6'6" when I stand on a chair. Josh is 6'5".
Got a 47-inch inseam. He's all leg.
Yeah. We went with the QAD with the MX2, which is awesome. And then we got the CBE Tech Pro, 3-pin vertical.
3-pin micro, yeah.
This can be a great bow for him. It fits him well. He's got a good draw length. No problem setting it up.
No, went up like a dream, didn't have to shim anything, and you got the micro on the rest to be able to fine tune it when you start shooting broadheads, because you might as well just get it close and go right to broadheads. Make sure it's perfect.
I want to finish this video with 2 things. One, a lot of you guys ask me, man, how do I get started on working on my own bows? I'm glad you asked. That's the whole reason we make our content. Right. We want you to be reliant on your own abilities to not only diagnose problems, but fix problems. Josh, thank you for teaching me everything that I know, for real.
No problem.
But let's give these guys a rundown on some like 5 things they should invest in. I'm gonna obviously pick the bow press as my first pick because you need one. Should they just get an easy green and bolt it to a table?
Bow press, easy green, hard to beat. Gotta do it. Vices, there's a lot of them out there. Revolution Vice is what we have here. Really a big fan of the Baker Vice. Check those out. Those are new for us, and you'll probably see that in my workstation going forward. Podium string level to actually set your levels on there is pretty critical. Sets it on your string, puts it on there, lets you know what level is so you can adjust the other stuff. Gen 2 level goes on your rail. Not a little more expensive than that, but it is necessary to set your rail on a movable sight, assuming you guys are using a movable sight. Loop pliers, if you're gonna do your own string work, you're going to need loop pliers to put on a loop.